share with you 4 fast ways to improve your negotiation skills. Now, negotiation skills are something that people typically relate negotiation skills to be exclusive to salespeople or lawyers, but that's not always the case. Negotiation skills can serve you in so many different areas, whether it be in your professional world, with your colleagues, but also at home, negotiating with others or family. You can always benefit from negotiation skills. So I'm going to give you 4 tips, really quick ways that you can improve your negotiation skills, some things you may not have thought of before. Okay, so number 1, don't compete. Too often people go into negotiations with a ruthless approach. And if both people are trying to defeat each other like a gladiator ring, then negotiations are just going to slow down. It doesn't benefit. Ultimately, you want 2 people to be seeking out a win-win scenario. But worst case scenario, each person is coming out with an outcome that they can live with. When you are pursuing to defeat or even punish the other person, it prevents you from seeing opportunity, and it also prevents you from actively listening to what the other person has to say. And the bad side to that is that you miss opportunity that you may not have heard before. You want to be focusing on partnerships, opportunities, and joint ventures or other avenues you hadn't considered before that are a win-win outcome. But if you're focused on a defeat approach or conquering approach, you're not actively listening and you're not hearing those opportunities present themselves. Number 2, always have an alternative offer. Always have a backup. Think about where your limitations are. Think about what you could live with if you absolutely have to. It's something you can kind of pull out if you need to. So if you're not happy with the offer that somebody else is putting to you or the proposal they're giving to you, you don't have to just walk away. Instead, you can propose an alternative. You can say, well, what about this? What about this as an option? Could we consider this? And it's something that you're willing to accept. It may not be the top level, but it's something that you're happy to live with. And ultimately, you're not going to lose. You're always going to walk away anyway. Number 3, pre-framing. This is the most important thing, and the better you can get at doing this and using little nuances in your language, NLP practitioners are very good at this, is priming the environment and the conversation to be very fertile for negotiation. Framing is the term that you use in terms of creating the environment for presenting your offer. And the way that we do it can determine the success or the failure of your offer that you're putting to people. So what works well is to just demonstrate a risk option and a secure option. So some people have a level of how much risk they're willing to take. So if you give people a secure option as well as a risk option, then they can generally find something that matches them or somewhere in between. People typically want to make a sensible choice. So there are those, though, that are willing to take a greater risk. They're willing to take a greater risk if they see that the payoff is worth it. So your goal is to know where that breaking point is, where they're going to be risk adverse, where it might hold them back. And lastly, really just keep the end in mind. Don't get caught up in the details. Don't get bogged down with the path that you take to the final destination. The end result, not the process, is most important. At the end of the day, if both people have a happy outcome, a win-win situation, that's all that counts. Or if at the end of the day, both people end up with a situation that they can live with, then that's a good outcome. So getting bogged down with all of the finer details that don't serve the bigger picture is not worth it and can really impede upon negotiation. So I'd love to hear from you. What are your negotiation tips? What have you found that works really well? There's so many little things out there. I've just shared 4 with you. So I'd love to hear what your negotiation tips are. So please comment below.